Okay, so I will now share my screen. Where did we stop? Everyone, where did we stop? Where did we stop? I think we stopped here, no? Where let's just review the learning objectives, no? For everybody. Okay, is that okay with you guys, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
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 Okay. Okay, so we will be having our learning objectives here as part of the discussion. And please take note once again that this particular topic is very important since this is the starting point on writing your lesson plan. It is expected that right after you go out with this course and subject, you are now perhaps able to write lesson plan. No, I am not expecting for you to write a perfect lesson plan, but I think that the most important there is you understand the component of your lesson plan. At the same time, by the time your teachers will require you to write your lesson plan, you're now able to. No, again, there will be a lot of templates, perhaps, of a lesson plan. Aside from there are a lot of kinds of lesson plan, no, but when it comes to format, I did mention that we don't have a very strict format when it comes to writing your lesson plan. All you have to do here, or the important thing here, is for you to know the essential parts and components of your lesson plan. Kasi kahit ka naman na different format yung ibibigay ng teacher, as long as you understand the content of your lesson plan, as long as you have the basic of the components of your lesson plan, whatever the format of it, will be okay. Okay, so we will now be starting with the learning objectives. Once again, I did mention about the acronym SMART. Now we have here S stands for specific, M for measurable, A for attainable, R for relevant, and T for time based. So an objective is an intent communicated by a statement describing a proposed change in a learner. Ang sabi ko nga, the objectives are one of the reasons why teachers discuss the learning objectives or the learning outcomes of that particular lesson is for you to understand that that is your learning target, that is your target at the end of the lesson. Since that is our statement given to you, and some of the teachers really discussed it, you would notice really that if they have five learning objectives or if they have three learning objectives, you would really notice that they are to discuss each of it, no? Kasi nga, they really wanted you to understand what is the goal of this particular lesson. Okay, what is the focus of this particular lesson? Now, those statements are actually our proposals to you, our proposals to you that at the end of the day, this should be the change of behavior that we are expecting to. Okay, the second bullet here talks about clearly defined learning objectives guide the learner of what he is to be like when he has successfully completed a learning experience. Now, that is why really we really have to go to the basics, no, and then the technical part of writing your learning objectives. It is because when you write your learning objectives well, when you write your learning objectives clear, very clear, no, and very concise, magagawa yan ng estudyante. No, they can actually perform that. No, you just have to make sure that the statements are not ambiguous. Now, when we say ambiguous, they are not abstract. They are not ano ba yan, hindi maintindihan. It should be specific. That is why our feature or the characteristics of our learning objectives must be smart. Third bullet, communicating your objectives to your students helps them focus their thinking and motivates them to participate in class. That's the main reason. Kasi nga, we really wanted our students to be directed. We really wanted our students to focus on that particular part of your lesson. That is why we have to communicate our objectives and even discuss each objective for them to understand the focus and of course the focus and then of course the goal of the lesson. Okay. If you have questions, again, you just have to unmute your microphone and then state your name and then your question. Next bullet, teachers are responsible for delivering lessons that are planned, organized, and implemented based on the objectives that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. As I have mentioned, this is actually one man show. No, the one who will be constructing the lesson will be the teachers, and the one who will implement the lesson is also the teachers. No, this is a very nice thing because your lesson plan is the foundation of the teacher. The lesson plan is the blueprint of your teachers. No, this should be flexible enough to provide room for the learners to make their own personal and independent connections from the classroom to real life situations. As I have been telling you that the lesson plan should not be rigid. It should be flexible enough to contain different kinds of students, to contain different kinds of situations. So that is why we really have to construct lesson plan which is very flexible. Flexible enough to again contain different kinds of students. This is actually to minimize biases, no, as we go through. That is why there are questions posed, no, na, sir, what if sir dili mahuman ang lesson plan anang adlaw, no? Is that a bad lesson plan? No. The lesson plan is just a plan, no? Therefore it will be executed perfectly or it cannot be perfectly executed. Yung sabi ko nga, yung lesson na ginawa mo for photosynthesis, that will be your lesson for section 1 students, and that should also be your lesson plan for your section 22 na klase, no? The only difference now is your strategy, but the plan is just the same. That is why we really have to construct lesson plan which is very flexible and minimal on biases. Next, for the term goals and objectives, what is the difference between a goal and an objective? I think during your CPE 105, no, sa basic concepts nato sa assessment of learning, you were introduced with the term goal and objective, and what is the difference between the two? When we say goal, that is very broad, no, that is a very broad statement perspective, and then for you to reach your goal, you have sets of objectives. Like for example, once again, I do not know if I did mention this. Like for example, I wanted to become a successful teacher. No, that is my goal. No, my goal in life is to become a successful teacher. For me to become a successful teacher, I have different sets of objectives. Of course, my first objective is to pass sa entrance exam sa isa ka prestigious university in the Philippines. No, right after passing, that's my next objective is to get my desired course. Now, for example, I really wanted to be a BS Ed biology, okay, student. So I got in. My next objective now is to pass all my subjects. No, plus points na lang to mga flat one, for example. And then of course to pass the course, no, to graduate sa course, plus points na lang tong masuma cum laude ka, mag magna cum laude ka or ma cum laude, no. But then again, that is your objectives. Next objective is to take the board exam and of course to pass the board exam. Plus points na po tong mag-top ka sa board exam. And then of course, you are trying to love and then put your whole commitment to your profession, no? So those are your objectives for you to meet your goal. Okay? Learning outcomes were previously called goals and objectives. They are made up of particular knowledge, skill, or behavior. If we're going to look at the term knowledge, we talk about cognitive. When we talk about the term skill, we're talking about psychomotor. And if you are to mention the term behavior, we are actually mentioning the word affective. Okay? So they are made up of particular knowledge, skill, or behavior that every learner is expected to demonstrate after completion of the instruction provided by the teacher. It is really expected. No, actually, kaya nga nilalagyan natin yan ng at the end of the lesson, the students should be able to. It is because, once again, children, that is our proposal for you to change that right after that particular instruction, there should be a change of behavior. No, coming from students na hindi marunong mag-multiply to students na marunong mag-multiply. So that is what we call change of behavior, no, as we say. Anyway, next, To give you an idea on the differences of goals and objectives, no, let's try to look at, no, especially for those people here, no, for those now that wanted to build their own school, perhaps, no, saan ang gagalin yung by the time you will be constructing your own school, you would notice na, or you could actually ask, no, that saan kaya nila kinuha yung tinatawag nila na vision, mission, then the goals and objectives of their school, no? Saan kaya nila hinugot yun? So we have again the term goals and objectives, and I did mention that goals here are general statements, and objectives, although I did not mention that objectives are specific, but once again, when we say objective, it doesn't mean na specific siya. Okay, baka kasi sasabihin natin that since goals are general statements, we automatically perceive that objectives are specific statements. No, no. So lahi siya. So according to the definition of Ornstein, 1996, goals are general statements about what schools are expected to accomplish. So what schools man are expected to accomplish, so therefore it should be general, correct? Okay. So saan ba natin mahanap yung tinatawag natin na goals, children? It can be found to your institutional intended learning outcomes. So let's try to picture out MSU main campus, no? MSU Marawi. We actually have our institutional intended learning outcomes, which is for vision mission. Probably we also have our goals and objectives, no? And then another thing we have is the program intended learning outcomes. Like for example, the college, no? Remember, we have in a particular college, no, sa each college sa university, maraming yang meron siyang College of Education, meron tayong tinatawag na College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. We also have College of Information Technology. If you are to notice that one, lahat yung mga colleges natin dito sa MSU, they have different programs. Now, what I mean is that they have different courses. Since they have these particular courses, they also have their program intended learning outcomes. If you are to compare the goals of the College of Education and then the goals of the College of Business Administration, you would notice the very different goals, correct? And then the learning outcomes. Because the purpose why College of Education existed because they really wanted to produce quality teachers. For the BA naman, for the College of Business Administration, perhaps they wanted to produce students who are good in accountancy and to be a good in entrepreneurship and business. Okay, so lain-lain yun siya og statement. Next, if you go down to objectives, objective is an intent communicated by a statement describing a proposed change in a learner. So meaning to say, ito yung proposal namin sa mga estudyante that at the end of the day or at the end of a unit, at the end of the course, you have there must be a change of behavior. No, meron kayong dapat matutunan. So we have your course intended learning outcomes. We also have your intended learning outcomes. Now, what's the difference between the two? When we say CELO here is the whole or the general objectives of particular subject. Like for example, CP 107, no? Ang ato ang CP 107 the technology for teaching and learning one na meron siyang course intended learning outcomes, no? Siguro perhaps at the end of the course, yun yung sasabihin, no? At the end of the course or at the end of the subject, the whole subject, for example, the students should be able to identify ICT concepts. There should be students at the end of the day should know how to construct lesson plan and so on. So a broad statement of the learning outcome of the course, no? When we say intended learning outcomes, ito ba itong specific? So like for example, sa CP 107, one of the lessons there kay lesson planning. So sa lesson planning nato, kato akong gi-state dito nga at the end of the day or at the end of the lesson, students should be able to differentiate goals and objectives. Those are intended learning outcomes. Okay, so please take note of the differences and of course the leveling of the four concepts and the four topics, goals, and objectives. Okay, this particular figure is the attributes of the 21st century learner, and this should be ano ba yan, the quality and the characteristics of the new generation of graduates, especially kayo, no? Because you will be the product of the new generation and you belong to the 21st century learner. Now, if you're very familiar with the 21st century skills, you would really notice na grabe gid ang demand sa bagong nga generation sa mga estudyante nga mo graduate. No, that is why when it comes to job placement, competition is very evident and competition is evaporated. Inanagid kaayo ang nahitabo karon sa competition. Kasi nga the characteristics of the students are not if you're to compare sa old generation, mas dali lang. No, siguro as old generation, all you have to do is you just have to know how to read, to write, and then to calculate perhaps. But for this particular generation, you have to be creative and so on. No, para ikaw ang mo gawas na successful, somewhat like that, no code. So there should be a seamless flow of connection between and among the constitutional aims, goals, and objectives. When we say seamless, we say grabe ka fluid na connection between the constitutional aims, goals, and objectives. So if we're going to look at the other side of our picture diagram here, so we have the term aims, goals, and learning objectives, and on the other side of your screen, you have here the example statements, which is parallel or mirror to aims, goals, and learning objectives. So for aims, kung atong nahibalan kaganina nga ang goals kay very general, napagay mas taas sa iya mo na gitawag na nga aims, no? So aims are broad statements about the intent of education as a whole. Like for example, ang gibutan nato nga example diri kay constitutional aims. Meaning to say, whatever the construct of a particular school, kung imo siyang tan-awon sa pinakataas na part, the basis of the basis or the what you call this, the basis of the vision, mission, goals, and objective of the school is actually coming from the Constitution. Remember that in Section 2, Article 14 of the 1987 Constitution, na kompleto kaayo ang ginatawag nato nga fundamental legal basis of education. So every time that someone or somebody will be constructing a school or an institution, dapat ang ilang construction sa ilang institutional or program goals, like for example, kining atong MSU Main, ang vision of mission sa MSU Main campus is actually anchored to the constitutional or sa atong 1987 Constitution. Because that is the provision stipulated sa mga legal basis sa education sa Pilipinas. Okay? Then go down to that is the term goals. So that is now the level of the institution. So that is why we have our vision mission. We also have there our goals and objectives. No, very very broad. Okay. So according to the other side, we have derived from the vision mission statements of the educational institution of which you are part. You're a part. And then the last part we have is the learning objectives. This is now the bottom part, no? This is now the classroom objectives. So mo na ni inyong makita sa inyong syllabus, no? Sa imong syllabus na nakay general general objective sa tibuok subject, and you also have their specific objectives for each topic. Okay? So that is the seamless flow of your seamless connection between and among constitutional aims, goals, and objectives. I hope you get it. Next is the term on the objective specifications, and I did mention about constructing your lesson plan, right? And you would really notice nganong naagi tulo ka book statements. So nganong tulo man gid siya ka book? Why not one only statement? The main reason why perhaps, and again, the main reason why we constructed three learning objectives, it is because we wanted to create holistic not to create, no, but we wanted to equate people in a holistic manner. No, we wanted them to nurture their cognitive level, to of course to enhance their psychomotor, and of course to feel their spirit as for the affective part. So that is actually the feature of a holistic student. No, so that is why gusto gyud nato nga dapat bright ang estudyante at the same time buutan ang estudyante din with all the feelings, somewhat like that, no? Dili ta pwede mag-create og estudyante that bright lang and then wala po siya batasan. Okay, so that is actually the idea of that. The idea why when we construct our lesson plan, tulog gid kabok na learning outcomes ang atong ipagawas. So teachers usually categorize learning in three main groups or domains. They may be often considered in seclusion, but in practice, learning may occur together in all three. Although gina-separate siya, but technically, bahala pag dili na to siya isulat ng isa, but in a particular teaching learning process, all of the three are actually working. No, balag wala na to siya i-stipulate. So it means that when we teach, we should not only focus on the enrichment of knowledge, but also to teach learner to act in what he knows. That is what we call psychomotor. No? And use it properly to benefit self and his neighbor. That is when it comes to emotions, correct? So to um let's try to direct ourselves to the table below. We have four columns here. Or actually three columns, no? We have the first column for domains. We also have the second columns for second columns, naka-plural kasi duhagid siya. The nature of the learner, and then the third column is the goal of life. So let's just run through. Cognitive is for the head, to nurture the mind in order to know. And then for the next domain, we have affective is for the heart to nurture the spirit in order to love. And then psychomotor is for the body to move the limbs in order to serve. So that is a very holistic picture of graduate or students. Next, question so far.
None, sir.
Thank you. Next, meet the three types of learners. That is why really we wanted to develop students, which is very holistic, no? Let's try to look at the three different types of learners. The first one is term or so-called the big head, tiny heart learner. So kung titignan niyo pa yung label na the big head, tiny heart learner, bright siya pero walang puso. Something like that. If that is the meaning of that statement. No, it is not enough that a school produces graduates with excellent academic standing who later assumes prominent positions in the government and uses his intelligence for corruption to get rich or worse, perverts the idea of conflict or war. No, because of this particular person, very intelligent, and because of that intelligence, yang gigamit to pervert the idea of conflict or war. So what it purports, siya yung nagbibigay ng ideya, somewhat like that. Okay? So that is the big head, tiny heart learner. Okay. On the other hand naman, ayaw din nating mag-develop ng estudyante na sobrang mabait pero walang laman yung dapat may paglagyan. No? This is actually really a true story sa DepEd, although we really wanted it to I do not know because it's the reality, ma'am. Of course, I have a student na yung estudyante ko napakabait because I can actually lean, you know, actually lean some help sa estudyante. And then of course, I can dong, kung ano sa ni dong, limpyoy, and so on. Dahil, kanang sila nga mga grupo nga may estudyante, no. And then of course, dili man sila mag-absent, a perfect attendance man sila. But then again, when it comes to submission of activities, when it comes to exam, kay gamay gyud ang ilang scores. So ang basis karon kay dili gyud ako sila ibagsak kay wala gyud tubutan magud sila so papasaron. Okay? So kailangan nato i-promote ang estudyante dapat hindi pwede mag-retain siya sa grade 9 lang or grade 8 or grade 7 whatsoever. So according to the second type of learner, the big heart, tiny mind learner. But here sa tinudanay, it is also not good to pass or promote a learner because he is kind, nice, or behaves well in your class. You should also learn the fundamental knowledge necessary for daily living activities. Kasi nga, the competition now when it comes to job finding is very intense. No? Kung wala jud kay proper qualification, you cannot get proper job and perhaps you cannot get good salary. The reason why we go to school, the reason why we strive hard in school, it is because we wanted to get proper job. We we wanted to get a high salary grade job, correct? So that is it. So we really have to go back to the basic at kailangan talaga natin turuan yung bata. Okay. Now, next is the holistic learner. This is now na-mention ko about why we have to nurture the three domains of learning kasi nga we wanted to develop holistic learner. We wanted to create and produce holistic learner. So as teachers, it is our mission to mold each learner to become balanced individual capable of using his knowledge for a novel cause. Hence, the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains are essential for holistic teaching to produce holistic learners. And this is a very nice quotation, thinking and feeling being. No? So, right siya, maayo po siyang pamatasan, ano siya no? And then, perfect. Mura na siya ako. I'm sorry. So, perfect ayon. That is our holistic learner. As much as possible, although that is why it is this particular profession is termed and labeled as noble because we teachers are not just giver of knowledge. No, we are just an agent which is transfers knowledge to another people and so on. But we actually mold the future of students. Perhaps not just to molding the future of students, but also molding their being, as a person. So dako kayo impact ang teacher. So mao gyud na nga to ang paningkamutan that as much as possible we have to hold on kung ano yung calling natin, no? Because we really wanted to be teachers. Therefore, we have to grab it and of course use it in a proper way. Okay. Next is the sequence objectives. Having a taxonomy is a conceptual framework for identifying the multiple ways in which learning can be significant. It can help teachers decide which of the various levels of learning they want to support and promote in a given course or learning experience. This is according to Fink 2002. Sir, what do you mean by the first bullet? Of course, remember the Bloom's taxonomy na mag level, no? And then as teachers, alam natin kung dapat alam natin kung saang parte sa tinatawag nating hierarchy o sa tinatawag natin na Bloom's taxonomy ang dapat nating pagtuunan ng pansin, of course, to develop more. Okay? The most popular is Bloom's taxonomy, 1956, revised more recently by Anderson and others, 2001. So Anderson actually, estudyante siya ni Bloom, no? And then they revised the Bloom's taxonomy. And then the main feature, siguro, I think I have a picture here. Let's try to recall kung ano yung binago, mga major changes sa Bloom's taxonomy. Okay? Next, sequencing of objectives are categorized according to different levels of learning that you want the learners to achieve. Of course, meron tayong very low level, and then of course, meron tayong tinatawag na highest level. Remember, we have the term LUTs, and we also have here the term HUTs. No, LUTs comprises of your remembering, understanding, and applying. Yes, and then understanding, already comprehending, for example, and then the hats there will start from up to creating or creativity. Okay, so whether you want the students to remember factual information, distinguish among the concepts, factual information, this is remembering, distinguish among the concepts, this is understanding, apply rules, principles, that is application, or do problem solving, these expectations should be expressed as different types of objectives. This is according to Drinner, 1991. Okay, so that is the sequence of objectives. Sir, why do we want? But why there is? Why should be there is what we call sequence objectives? Because we wanted them to not just learn sa basics, but we wanted them to learn on the complexity of the lesson, no? So dili pwede nga dito na siya perminti sa remembering a part. Nga college students na daghan gyapon remembering a question. Mao na ato mga estudyante pag abot og tertiary level, ma-culture shock sila. Okay, by the time teachers and professors will give them complicated situations, complicated exams, kay matiurok na sila, no? pangluspad na sila kay wala na anan. Okay, because really teachers really we really wanted to to harness the juice of the juice of the brain juice sa mga estudyante. So pick on ginato na siya. Next, this one is actually the figure composed and created by Dewars, no, about sequencing of objectives. And then if you are gonna look at here, in order to problem solve, kung titingnan niyo meron talaga siyang leveling na tinatawag. Before you problem solve or for you to understand problem solving, you have to make sure that you have the basics, no? Parang siyang foundation. Of course, you cannot solve calculus without the idea of basic algebra. No, you cannot understand basic algebra if you don't have basic arithmetic, for example. No, you cannot do ano ba? You cannot do perhaps research without the knowledge of statistics, perhaps. So meaning to say, naagit tayo ginatawag na leveling and sequencing. So in order to problem solve, according to the figure, students need to understand concepts and rules. So mag-una gito sa pinakaubos. Okay? So this clearly tells us that lower order thinking skills will serve as a baseline foundation in order for the learners to perform the higher order thinking skills. So mo nga dili pud pwede nga abi kay suko ra pud kay ka gusto gid nimo nga ma-bright ang mga estudyante lahat ng questions sa exams kay HOTS. Di ang labas bagsak ang mga estudyante merisi, no? So muna nga we have to make sure that although you have a lot of percentage sa HOTS, you should have also lots for the questions, no? This is not this is not the idea to balance everything, but to give students parang tatawagin nating scaffolding, no? Because they cannot understand complicated matters without the basics. Okay? So mo gina siya nga to ang tagaan idea. I hope you really understand that. Next, the Bloom's revised taxonomy. Lauren Anderson, a former student of Bloom, and David Krathwold revisited the cognitive domain in the mid 90s and made some changes, with perhaps the three most prominent ones being. So of course, ang pinakauna, changing the names in the six categories. I'll just have to run through, no? Kasi I have a link here. I'll show you a particular article wherein naadig to ang mga revisions sa to ang Bloom's taxonomy. So the first one, changing the names in the six categories from noun to verb forms. So instead of that particular very passive term noun, nagiging siyang active form, which is verb, no? And then rearranging them, and then creating a matrix of processes and levels of knowledge according to Anderson and Krathwold. So let's try to click the link, and then I will transfer the screen sharing. Okay. Question so far? Question so far?
Sir. None,
Okay.
sir.
Sige, buhay pa tayong lahat.
Yes, sir.
Buhay pa.
Yes, sir.
O, laban lang, ha? Okay.
Hindi pa gutom, sir.
Sir.
Hindi pa halata ang gutom na gutom. Okay, can you see my screen?
Di po.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
let's run.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Let's
Yes, sir.
let's run through the article. Although you are very familiar with this because we're done with CP 105. So this is now the revised Bloom's taxonomy of learning domains. Okay. So Bloom's taxonomy was created in 1956 under the leadership of educational psychologist Dr. Benjamin Bloom in order to promote higher forms of thinking and education. So the three domains of learning, I did mention about it, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. And these three should be reflected in the construction of your learning outcomes or learning objectives. Okay, next, of course, the cognitive domain, according to here, this is the old one, no? We have knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So that is the old Bloom's taxonomy. The categories can be thought as degrees of difficulties. That is the first ones most normally normally may be mastered before the next one can take place. Again, because hindi natin pwedeng i-change abruptly, no? We wanted to sequence everything. We wanted to give them foundations. That is why we wanted to step on the first ladder first before sa higher ladder. Okay, so we have here the Bloom's revised taxonomy. So Lauren Anderson, a former student, blah blah blah. Yes, I did mention on the three changes, main changes sa tinatawag natin na Bloom's revised taxonomy. So let's try to look at now the difference, no? So this is now the arrangement, children. Sa original domain, okay, sa original domain, we have evaluation. Okay, we have evaluation. At dito sa bottom mag-start. We have knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. You would notice that the form is in a noun form, correct? So that is the arrangement. And then sa bagong arrangement or sa revised Bloom's taxonomy, instead of knowledge, it actually changes to remembering. So it was galing sa noun, it became sa active verb na siya. Okay? Remembering, you have understanding, applying, analyzing, and of course, the change of this rearrangement. So ang nana sa taas is ang creating. So synthesis now was replaced by the term creating. And of course, evaluation by evaluating. At the same time, ka-interchange sila. Because they believe that creating is the highest form of the highest part of your higher order thinking skills, no? So it requires a lot when it comes to creating. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I'll be giving you the copy of the link. I think it is already embedded sa material na ako nagipadala. And you can actually use the website for you to find a particular word, kung ano yung dapat ninyong gamitin sa lesson plan ninyo. Okay? So please use this as your guide. So we also have here the different matrix, the matrix of the cognitive process and levels of knowledge. So you all have the concepts here, no? And then napod tayo affective ug psychomotor. So please run through the website and please manipulate it in such a way that this could give you more ideas on what should be written in your learning objectives. Okay? I hope that is clear, no? So ang atong purpose dito ang gitanaw ang changes sa Tom Bloom's taxonomy. Questions so far? Happy ta tamahuman ang itong happy wala na. So happy ta tamahuman ang itong PowerPoint and then 15 of 17. So let's just finish everything. And right after the discussion, of course, we'll end the class. And prior to that, I'll give some announcement perhaps, no? Okay. For section 3, the teaching content. Let's try to look at. Okay. So this one, meron din naging separate discussion on this, no? The teaching content. So I think that's all. Wanted to siya. We have separate discussion on teaching content. Okay. Question so far.
Yan.
Question? Wala naman? Wala ba tayong tanong?
Wala ta.
Ah, wala. Okay. So, for this, we will end the class and siguro, I think all the lesson plans na sample nandoon na sa ating Google Drive, sa ating Google Classroom. And of course, the recorded video are already there. And this one, I will also include this. No, I'll upload this also. And of course, perhaps before the week ends, I'll be giving you an activity about lesson planning. Perhaps you will be writing now your lesson plan. Please wait for my instruction before you will start writing your lesson plan. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Clear.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. If you don't have any questions, you may now exit the room. Goodbye, children. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye,
Goodbye,
sir.
sir.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.